bhavatu sahanau bhunaktu saha viryam karavavahai tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Now we'll chant the first verse and the last verse of Dhyana shlokas together. Parthaya pratibodhitam bhagavata narayanena svayam vyasena grathitam purana munina madhye mahabharatam advaitamritavarshinim bhagavatim ashtadashadhyayinim ambatvāmanusandadhāmi bhagavad-gīte bhavatveshinim yam brahma varunendra rudra marutaha sunvanti divyaisthavaihi vedai sanga padakramopanishadaihi gayanti yam samagaha dhyanavasthita tadgatena manasa pashyanti yam yoginaha yasyantam na vidussura suraganaha devaya tasmai namaha. So children, we completed the 5th chapter also, and we saw that in the 2nd chapter Lord Krishna gave a summary of what he was teaching in the entire Bhagavad Gita, correct? And then in the 2nd chapter also, Lord Krishna gave a brief introduction of what is the ātmānātmānam that is taught by the scriptures. That is, who am I? I am this body, or am I something else other than this body? That was discussed for a short while in the 2nd chapter. Then Lord Krishna gave an introduction to Karma Yoga also in the 2nd chapter. And then we saw who is a wise person. Who is a wise person? Who has followed Karma Yoga and who has actually prepared his mind for this knowledge. He has gone to the Jnana Yoga, got this knowledge from the Guru, and then he has become wise. And that wise person was called as Sthita Prajna. And what happens to the wise person? He is free from sorrow and confusion. That's what we saw. And in the 3rd chapter, what was Karma Yoga? What is how an action should be done? How all of us should live our daily lives. That was talked about. The Panchamahayajnas were talked about. What is a yajna way of life? What is the meaning of living a life of contribution? Okay, how to live in harmony with the entire environment. All this Krishna explained as Karma Yoga. And then he went to the 4th chapter. And in the 4th chapter, what did he explain? He explained a little bit more on Jnana Yoga. First, he described who he was. Krishna described himself as an avatara of God. And he also said why he had come as an avatara. How come he was here? Why he came? He talked about when dharma becomes very, very less in the society, when adharma predominates in the society, to save people from adharma, to save all the dharmic people, and to destroy the adharmic people who are actually dealing with adharma. I have come to protect the dharma, dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge, he said. And then he talked about that he created the system in the universe so that people could live nicely, cooperating with each other. And he talked about the Varna Dharma, where people are grouped into different groups, not as caste, but as Varna, where people can give whatever they are efficient, maximally whatever they can give efficiently, they can give. We thought of that. And then I explained to you what is this Jnanam, what is this Atmajnanam, that Krishna is trying to talk to Arjuna, and gave you a detailed of what is Atma, what is the body. I gave you the example of that with electricity and all the gadgets, and gave you as an example as to what this Atma is and what the body is. Correct? Then in the 5th chapter also, we saw that the same thing was continued. And also we saw how a wise person or a Siddha Prajna looks at everybody with equality. For him, every human being is the same. Nobody is different because he sees that the same Atma is in all the bodies. Okay? Therefore, he sees that he does not see any difference between me and you and him and her or an animal or a plant. He doesn't see any difference. And he is very compassionate to everybody, cooperates with everybody. Why? Because he sees the same principle, the same Atma in everybody. One Atma in all the bodies, in all the jivas. And so what happens here? He is a wise man that we talked about, correct? Now we are going to the 6th chapter. Now what is 6th chapter is dealing with? Lord Krishna deals with what? Now let us see. You have to be a karma yogi first, he says, correct? In the 5th chapter, he gave a stepwise approach. What did he say? Firstly, you have to do karma yoga as the first step. Like I gave you the example of you are going to 8th standard first after 7th standard, then going to the 9th standard. You can't jump the steps and once for all go to a higher class. Similarly, Lord Krishna says that karma yoga is a preparatory step. All of us have to live a life of karma yoga. And I have already explained to you what karma yoga is. Doing all the activities that you do with what feeling? That you are offering this action to God as worship. And whatever results of the action come, what do you take it as? As God's prasada. Correct? What does it do for you? This makes your mind, this makes your intellect prepared for the next step. What is the next step? Understanding what this Atma is, as is told by the scriptures. Correct? So now, in all these 2 steps, first step karma yoga, second step learning this knowledge. We heard how we saw how to do it. In all these steps, what is most important? Most important is self-effort. Correct? One has to be willing to put all one's effort. God has given us a free will. Correct? God has given us a capacity to think and decide and do what is necessary. Correct? So, we have to use our effort. Correct? To be a karma yogi, I should put my effort. No, God cannot put me on the first step. I have to climb up on the first step. I have to make an effort to be a karma yogi. And once my mind is prepared for the next step, I have to climb to the second step. Correct? And then I have to be prepared to get this learning from my guru. I have to go to the guru. Guru is not going to come to me. I have to go to the guru. I have to ask for this knowledge. I have to surrender to the guru. Correct? And I have to ask the relevant questions. I have to have shraddha in whatever Bhagavan is teaching and Guru is teaching. So what is the meaning of all this? In all this, my effort is very important. Correct? Without my effort, even Bhagavan Krishna cannot be any knowledge. Do you understand? My effort is very important. I have to put in my effort. Without my effort, nothing is possible. If I want to elevate myself, if I want to learn to be a karma yogi, if I want to learn what the scriptures are telling me, if I want to receive knowledge from Bhagavan Krishna, I have to be willing. I have to make a self-effort. I have to lift myself up, correct? Supposing I fall down. Just take an example. Supposing I fall down. Somebody may be able to help me. Somebody will probably give me his hand. I have to make an effort to hold his hand and then get up, isn't it? I'll tell you one interesting story. It seems two people were traveling in a boat, okay? And the boat toppled. It was a little, sort of wobbling. One fellow fell out of the boat, okay? And the one who was in the boat, he tried to help him. And what did he say? He put his hand down into the water and he told the drowning fellow, please give your hand, please give your hand. I will pull you up, please give your hand. He did not give his hand. Why this fellow is not giving me his hand? He's almost drowning. Then this man in the boat said, please take my hand. Please take my hand. So this man did not want to give. He only wanted to take. Okay. So what happened then? He gave his hand. He took his hand and came up. That means what? The person who was drowning didn't want to make any effort. He wanted the other person to put all the effort and pull him up. Do you understand? So it's not possible like that, no? Supposing I'm drowning, supposing somebody is able to help me, I have to also cooperate, right? Lord Krishna is willing to give me this knowledge. Lord Krishna is able to help me to go through all the steps of Karma Yoga and also Jnana Yoga or knowledge. But if I am not able to cooperate with him, if I am not giving my help to him, if I am not helping Lord Krishna to help me, what will happen? I will not be able to go up the ladder. Correct? I have to put my effort to climb up the ladder. Somebody cannot pull me from up. Correct? Naan prayatna madbekalvapa. I have to make my prayatna. Then only I will succeed in something. God's grace is always there. But if I don't make an effort, how can God help me? So in the 6th chapter, Bhagavan Krishna is telling Arjuna, hey Arjuna, I have given you the two most important lessons of your life. What are the two important lessons? Karma Yoga, doing all the actions as worship to me and accepting all the results as the prasada of me. I have also given you this knowledge of the self which will free you from your sorrow. But then Arjuna, you have to lift yourself up. You have to put your effort along with my teaching. One-sided, I cannot do anything. Okay? See, children, it says there is a train called as mountain railway. Have you heard of mountain railway? When the trains are going upwards on a hill or a mountain, normally for the train, there will be one engine, isn't it? But for very long trains, and if the train has to go upwards like this, there are two engines. The front engine will pull the train and the back engine will push the train. So there are two engines necessary. Without the two engines, the train cannot go. So what Krishna says is, your effort, Arjuna, is like the front engine. You have to pull yourself. I will give you a push from the back. Only my pushing, the train will not go. You have to push and I have to push. So therefore, in the 6th chapter, beginning, the first session, Lord Krishna talks about the importance of self-effort. What is the meaning of self-effort? I have to try also. I have to try to be a karma yogi. I have to try to understand this knowledge, what Krishna is giving. Okay, so this is called as self-effort. So in the 5th verse of the 6th chapter, Lord Krishna says, uddhared ātmanātmānaṁ, nātmānam avasādayet, ātmaiva hyātmano bandhur, ātmaiva ripur. So what here Krishna is telling is, you have to save yourself first. Nobody is going to come to your help unless you try to save yourself first. Okay. Now Arjuna is in lot of confusion and sorrow. Correct? He's sad and he's confused. But then who has to lift him up from his sorrow and his sadness and his confusion? He has to try to lift himself first. Then only Lord Krishna's grace will help. Anugraha. Devra anugraha yavag baruttappa? God's anugraha will come when we are also putting our effort. If we don't put our effort, God's anugraha, where it will help us? It will not help us. Like the two engines of a train. So here in the fifth verse, fifth shloka of the sixth chapter, he says, Arjuna, one has to elevate oneself. One has to save oneself from confusion and sorrow. It is very important for you to make effort. If you don't make the effort, then I cannot help you. Correct? Your teachers are teaching you very well. You are writing the exam. You are not at all studying. You are not preparing for the exam. And when your examination paper is corrected by your teacher, how can your teacher pass you or give you marks? You have to do something, no? You have to write something, isn't it, in the examination? At least 80% of the paper you should complete, then the teacher can do something. If you give a blank paper, or if you write only 10% of the answers, 3 questions out of 15 questions you answer and come out. What can your teacher do? Can he pass you? Can he help you? No, correct? You go to the class, you sit in the class, you don't concentrate on what the teacher is telling. You're looking here and there, all the time moving like this, very, very restlessly, not listening, not seeing, looking at the teacher. You have not brought your book to the class. After going home, you don't revise. Now, what can the teacher do? He can't do anything, no? You have to put your effort. What is that effort? You come to the class, do what the teacher says you, go back home, revise your portions. Correct? Here Krishna says, going back and revising whatever you have learned is like meditation. He says, you do meditation in the mornings, no? In the school, you sit and do what? You say Om Namah Shivaya or Om Swami, something like that you say. That means what? You're sitting and contemplating, meditating. But Lord Krishna says here, whatever you have learned from me, Arjuna, whatever anybody has learned from the scriptures, you have to contemplate on that. You have to revise upon that portion. And that revision itself is called as meditation. Sitting and doing Om Namah Shivaya is also meditation. Okay? But going over again and again and again on what Lord Krishna has taught, that is also a type of meditation. And in the 6th chapter, Lord Krishna is going to talk on that kind of meditation, where whatever you have learned, you are going to revise in your mind again and again. Like you learn something in the school, correct? You don't leave it at one thing because you don't understand it, isn't it? Once your teacher has told you, what do? You go home, revise the portion again and again and again till you understand, correct? It is like meditation. Revising this portion again and again, what has been taught, is called as meditation. It is like meditation. Sitting and thinking of a God and doing japa on that God, that is also called as meditation. Okay? Whereas when you think of whatever you have studied and go on revising it, it is called as Dhyana. It is also called as Anusandhana. Now he says that, look Arjuna, I have taught you all these things, that you should be a karma yogi, how you should do karma, how you should live your everyday life as karma yogi. What is this knowledge? Everything I have told you. But Arjuna, if you don't revise it, if you don't think over it again and again, if you don't revise this, what will happen? You will forget whatever I have taught you. Therefore, Arjuna, you have to meditate over it. That is also meditation. And for that, first, you have to lift yourself up. You have to first help yourself. You have to use your self-effort. You should put enough effort. Then only I can put effort. That is what Krishna is telling. The teacher can put effort. When you are also putting effort, the teacher can put effort, isn't it? If you do not put effort, if only the teacher is putting all his effort to teach you, it is one-sided effort, correct? What is learning? It is two-sided. The teacher is teaching and you are receiving. So where should be the effort? The effort should be on both the sides. So what did he say here? Uddhared ātmanātmānaṁ. You should lift yourself up. You should make an effort to learn what is being said. Don't put down yourself. I don't know anything. I can't understand anything. I don't know what Amma is speaking. Nothing is entering in my head. I don't think I am interested in this. This means what? You are putting down yourself. One should not put down yourself. One should be confident. Whatever is being taught, I am going to understand it. Till I understand it, I am going to meditate on it. Till I understand it, I am going to revise. It is the same thing for your school subjects also. It is the same thing for any knowledge that you learn. So he says, ātmaiva ātmanāh bandhur. You are your friend and you are your enemy also. Why? When you don't put any effort, when you don't contribute, when you don't cooperate with the teacher, nothing goes into your head. That means what? You are becoming your own enemy. But when you concentrate, when you cooperate with the teacher, and when you try to put your self-effort in learning and in revising, then you become a friend to yourself. So first of all, Krishna is telling Arjuna, ātmaiva ātmanāh bandhur, ātmaiva ripuh. Ripu means enemy. So you are yourself your enemy. You are yourself your friend. How can it be? When you put in your effort, okay, when you are seriously trying to learn and to revise, putting your effort, when you are using your own energy also into this process, then you become a friend to yourself. Because whatever is coming to you, you are able to receive. When you don't put your self-effort, whatever comes from outside, nothing will enter here. So you are your own enemy. Understand? So Krishna is telling here, Arjuna, to learn anything, okay, to understand anything, you must also cooperate with the teacher. You must use your self-effort. You should be willing to take what the teacher is giving you. You should cooperate and show your self-effort by listening to the teacher. And then go back and revise on what the teacher has told you. This is what is called as the self-effort. Okay, that is what he talked about in the 5th verse. Now in the 6th verse or 6th shloka of the 6th chapter, he says, bandhur tasya yenātmaivātmanā jitaḥ anātmanas śhatrutve vartetātmaiva śhatru-vat. So he says, those who have prepared themselves to cooperate and put their self-effort in learning whatever they have to learn, They are their own friends. You know, your mind becomes your friend, your body becomes your friend. They don't distract you. Okay? Whereas when you are only interested in what is happening somewhere else, when your body, when your mind, when your sense organs are not putting their effort, when they're not putting their effort in learning and revising, then it is as though you are an enemy to yourself. Okay? Now, Lord Krishna wants to talk about what? How to really sit and learn a thing properly and how to revise it. I said revision of whatever has been learned is called as contemplation, dhyanam, anusandhanam. Another name is nididhyasanam. Okay, there are so many names given. Remember only one name, Dhyanam. You remember Dhyana. That is why this chapter is called as Dhyana Yoga. Okay, because how to meditate, how to contemplate, how to revise on whatever you have learned, that is what is being talked about by Krishna here. So what does he say? How to revise whatever you have learned, whether it's physics knowledge, mathematics knowledge, ātmajnāna, anything it may be. How do you meditate upon? Supposing you want to meditate upon God, say Om Namah Shivaya or Sai Ram, whatever you want to meditate upon, that is also dhyana. So what is required for that now? Krishna says there are certain things required for that. In the 11th verse, he says, no, in the 10th verse, he says, what does he say? Yogī yuñjīta satatam ātmanāṁ rahasi sthitaḥ ekāki yata-chittātmā nirāshīra parigraha. So, for your dhyanam or for your contemplation, you choose a place which is not full of people. Choose a place which is quiet in your own house. Doesn't matter. In your own house also, you don't have to go anywhere. In your own house also, select a corner where you are not likely to be disturbed by other people, not likely to be disturbed by the TV and radio and all other things. So he says, choose a place and may you be alone when you are contemplating, when you are doing dhyana on either God or whether you are doing dhyana on revision of whatever Bhagavad Gita is telling you or whatever your teacher is telling you. Sit in a quiet place and may you be alone. Combined study and all won't work for this. We all do that now many times. Combined study. If everyone is of the same nature, it is okay. There may be one or two boys who are very, very disturbing and not interested in combined study. Then what happens? Everybody's study goes, it doesn't work at all. So as long as any kind of a revision of any knowledge is concerned, as long as sitting in meditation, revising what you have learned or doing japa or doing dhyana on the Ishta Devata, what one should do? Sit in a quiet place, a place where there is no disturbance. As far as possible, try to be alone. Let there not be other people when you're doing serious dhyanam. And may your mind be concentrating on what you're doing. Let your mind not run here and there. May you be committed that today, now for this half an hour, I'm going to sit in this place alone. I'm not going to be disturbed by anybody and I'm going to sit, close my eyes and do Bhagwan's dhyana, or I'm going to think of and revise what I was taught today. Understood? Huh? So sit in a quiet place and then may you be alone. Don't have other people like your pets and all with you. If you have a dog at home as a pet or a cat at home as a pet, Don't keep those things. Sit alone by yourself. And then he says, what are the other things? In the 11th verse, he says, Shuchau deshe pratisthapya sthiramasana ātmanāh nātyuchritam nāti-nīchaṁ chailājina-kuśhottaram. Let us not bother too much about asana. What he says is, the place which you select, let it be a clean place. Why a clean place? If there is a lot of dirt there, dust there, you may start sneezing. You may start getting allergy. You may start having burning in the eyes. Correct? So, let the place that you have chosen be clean. Choose a clean place. And then what should you do? There should be a seat which is not wobbly. Either take a chair or a stool. If you want to sit on the ground, put some kind of a asana. What is the meaning of asana? You have heard of asana? Asana means what? Like a mane you put, or you put a bed sheet, or a rug, or a carpet, or something, or a chape, a mat, something so that you are not sitting directly on the ground. What is the reason for that? The ground may be hard, so you will not be able to concentrate on your revision. The ground may be wet or it may be cold in cold season. Correct? So you may not be able to concentrate. Correct? There may be some insects on the ground, so you may not be able to concentrate. The insects are moving. So let there be some kind of a small asana. Not a very thick one, not a very soft one, not a very high one, but then let there be 2 or 3 layers, like one mat over which you have put a cloth, a soft cloth. A mat first, then a cloth, so that it is firm also. If you keep a cushion and all, what will happen? It is so soft that you will start falling from this side to that side. And you may feel so comfortable that you will fall asleep. Correct? So let there be a mat. That should be a sthiram asanam. Let there be a mat. On that, let there be a bed sheet or a carpet or something like that, so that you are sitting on a firm asana, and then there is no likelihood of you are getting disturbed by insects or the coldness of the floor, dampness of the floor, if you are sitting on the floor. If you are sitting on a chair, let the chair also be not very comfortable. It should be a straight back chair, just like I'm sitting now. It should not be a very soft chair. Okay, it should be a straight back chair and sit straight so that you don't feel discomfort. Okay, and then what it should be? It should not be very high also. It should not be very low also. High means what? High stool like this. You sit on a table. That is not correct, isn't it? Because you may fall down. If you doze off, you may fall down. Correct? If the asanam is very, very low, then also there is a possibility of just dropping off to sleep. So let where you are sitting, your seat. Asanam means what? Seat, the appropriate seat. If you are choosing to sit on the ground, let there be a mat over which a soft carpet or something is spread. Otherwise, you sit on your table and chair the way you are sitting. Let your chair not be that comfortable office chair. Let it be a straight chair, and on the chair also you can put a soft cushion or something thin cushion so that you are not hurt by the hard surface. Okay, so it should be like that. Then what happens when you have chosen a clean space, clean place, when you have chosen a proper seat, you are able to concentrate. Correct? Surroundings are important to concentrate. Where you're sitting also is very important to concentrate. So the surrounding should be good, and the seat that you have chosen also has to be firm. At the same time, it should not cause you any discomfort. Then what does he say? Once you are sitting there in a quiet place, start your revision or your dhyanam. In this chapter, it can be taken in both ways. Like you are doing dhyanam on Bhagwan with the japa. like Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namo Narayanaya. I'm sure in the mornings every day you are doing some japa, isn't it? Some dhyana as a prayer they are teaching. You are doing that. Or else, whatever you have learned by our scriptures in Bhagavad Gita, something is being taught to you. Tomorrow morning, you sit in the morning in a clear place. Try to remember what is it that yesterday was talked about, which chapter was talked about, what was explained. Try to remember, revise what was said. That is also called as nididhyasana or dhyana or anusandhanam. Okay, so that is what is called that. So let it be there. Then how do you sit? On the chair or on the floor? That also Krishna tells. You should sit in such a way straight that you don't feel sleepy. Supposing you sit like this, or you lie down like this and try to read, what will happen? You will fall asleep, isn't it? So what Krishna is telling in the 13th verse is, he says, Samam kaya shiro grivam dharayanna chalam stiraha samprekshya nasikagram svam dishaschanavalokayan. So he says, let your neck and your body be in one straight line, straight like this. Not crouching like this, not relaxing at the back like this. Why is he saying that? Then you won't feel sleepy. Your mind will be very, very alert. Samam kaya shiro grivam means what? My head, my neck, and my body should be in one line, straight. That helps in what? That helps in keeping my mind attentive, for the attention of the mind. Okay, so keep it that. And where should I look? I should look straight. I should not be looking this side, that side. The more I keep looking here and there, what happens? My eyes will distract me. All the things around me will distract me. So what should I do? I should look straight. How should I look straight? Neither the eyes should be totally closed, nor they should be fully open. They should be half closed, as if you are looking at the tip of your nose. Why? If you open your eyes fully, then you are tempted to look here and there, correct? If you close your eyes fully, then you will fall asleep. Whenever you close your eyes, what happens? You fall asleep. So you should not get distracted also by other things. You should not fall asleep also. So what should you do? Your eyes should be half open. How do you keep your eyes half open? Try to look at the tip of your nose. When you look at the tip of your nose, not exactly at the tip, but then see that you're looking like this so that your eyes are neither fully open nor they are fully closed. Okay, and you should not be looking here and there, not looking very far away also. So these are the preparations for dhyana. So he says one should not overeat also. If you have overeaten, what happens? Overeaten, if you eat too much, eat too much and sit for meditation, what happens? You will fall asleep, correct? So how much should you eat? Sufficient enough so that you are not hungry. At the same time, you feel I could have eaten a little more. So I should not eat till it comes out of the nose. Okay? Keep on eating till it comes out of the nose and I go on belching because I feel discomfort. So overeating should not be there. I should not eat too much. I should not eat very less also. If I fast, what happens? Hunger will be there and my hunger will distract me. So I should eat sufficiently for the hunger to go. At the same time, I should not have my full stomach, which will distract me from my meditation. At the same time, I should not sleep too much also because I'll be feeling very sleepy. I should not be awake for a long time. Supposing yesterday night, you have not slept at all, and at 6 o'clock you sit for meditation or for dhyana, what will happen? your eyes will just close with sleep because you have not slept the previous night properly. Your 8 children require minimum 7 to 8 hours of sleep, correct? You sleep at 2 o'clock in the night, get up at 6 and sit for meditation, what will happen? Correct? At the same time, from evening 7 o'clock to next day 7 o'clock, you are sleeping. And at 7 o'clock, you get up and sit for meditation. What will happen? Alasya banbidutte. Correct? You are so oversleepy, you have not come out of your sleep. You are really very, very lazy. So food should be in proper quantity, neither too much nor too less. Sleep also should not be too much or too less. With this, taking care of your food, your sleep, and sitting in a good place, nice place, you have to think about doing dhyana. Dhyana on God, God's name dhyana, or dhyana or nididhyasana on whatever has been studied. Okay, we will start. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.